Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany and today we're just going to do a little bit of a get ready with me and talk some TV. So I'm just going to be using a mixture of products that are Project Pan items and a couple of things that I want to try out, like this pure foundation that I picked up that I still haven't tried yet. I want to give that a shot, so let's just jump right in. I think I'm going to do a little bit differently. I probably won't talk too much about the makeup. I have a whole list of notes here, so let's get started. I've already gone ahead and done my eyebrows clearly, and I did some primer. For my friends who don't know, Marc Jacobs Beauty is going to be no more. They did not renew their contract with, is it Kendo, their parent company? I think it's Kendo is their parent company, but a whole bunch of their products are on sale, so if you like Marc Jacobs Beauty, now's the time to grab them before they go away. So I'm trying that out because my bestie gave it to me and I wanted to try it. It's okay. It's hydrating. It's nice. But let's go ahead and just get into it. So this video idea was inspired by watching the Friends reunion the other night. And my husband was so excited to watch it, and he asked me, he said, "Did you even watch Friends?" And I thought, what do you mean, did I even watch Friends? Of course I watched Friends. I'm pretty sure that I've seen every episode, and it got me thinking about TV. And Friends aired, of course, from 1994 to 2004. And at the time, that would have been for me between the ages of 8 and 18, and it ran for, those 10 years. And while growing up, I did not watch a whole lot of TV because I was too young for a lot and we didn't have very much cable. And so there were a lot of things that I missed growing up where I was limited to network television or whatever just happened to be on. And as a kid, I spent most of my time either playing outside or playing with my dolls or reading. That's just what I like to do. I've never really been a big TV person. But as I grew older and would watch kind of, the reruns and syndications and everything, I was able to catch up. So yeah, Friends was one of those shows that I'm pretty sure I've seen every single episode, either through like DVD box sets or just having seen many episodes run on syndication, over the last 20 years. So I was thinking about what other shows have I seen in their entirety, or what shows have I missed? And let me tell you, the shows that I have missed is infinitely longer than the shows that I have managed to watch in their entirety, for a multitude of reasons. So being a child of the 80s and 90s, I guess, TV has changed so much. Back then, you were limited to what you could either afford via cable or basic cable. There were so many different levels. And then if you could afford like those extra channels like HBO or Cinemax or Stars or whatever they had, you could have access to more things. And then Netflix came around and started to change the way that shows were made and what was available to you. And it really opened up, a lot of access for a lot of shows. And then of course, when the other streaming services started making original content, there was even more. So the last, I would say, decade or so, there's been a really big boom in what has been made and what is available to viewers. Oh, why's my neck red? I don't know, but this foundation I'm really liking this so far. I think it's a really good color match for me. It might be a little bit on the yellow side, but I think it's blending out really nicely and it's covering nicely. I like this. So back to the shows. there are a lot of things that I was not able to watch growing up because of, limited access to shows or even time. But there were some things that I was able to watch at the time and, stay kind of on trend with, but it wasn't very much. Shows like, let's see, I have a whole list. Shows in the early 90s. Let's see, I know I didn't watch a whole lot of TV, so a lot of the time it was things like Boy Meets World or whatever I could catch up on TV. I'm pretty sure I've seen most of those episodes. We watch whatever was on TGIF, or I know that I watched all of Seinfeld and Star Trek The Next Generation. We watched Home Improvement, on the weekends. And we watched, different things that we could find on network TV on the weekends or on rerun. And then as I got older and more access to things and could carve out time for shows, I would catch up that way. But a lot of the time it was just, especially in my early 20s, was putting things on in the background while I was doing other things. Like, for example, I know Friends was one of the shows that you could put up on TV. It was like they would just marathon it for hours. And so you could sit and have it playing in the background while you were doing other things. The same with Star Trek The Next Generation on BBC America. I would just pop that on and watch reruns of that for hours. Same with that 70s show. You could just pop it on and watch it for hours. That I know was one show that I'm pretty sure I still have all of the seasons on DVD, which is great because you can't even, it's not running on any streaming service right now. So it's really neat to kind of see the way we had, you had to wait for the show to come on and you had to wait for the rerun if you missed it. Or if you had a TiVo, you could record it. And now we have a whole generation of people who can sit and binge watch entire seasons of shows and just completely catch up. And yet here I am, still behind. So let me see, let me grab a concealer. This was going to be harder than I thought about chatting and trying to do my makeup at the same time. I'm not very good at that. I'm just going to brighten a little bit. I pulled out the stopper on my concealer. So anyway, so there are a few other shows that I've managed to catch up on now that streaming services have made it so easy for me to catch up on. For example, I know there was only one episode of Firefly, but I watched Firefly and the movie thanks to being available to stream. Same thing with Once Upon a Time. I know I didn't watch the first few seasons live on syndication. It was one of those shows that I just kind of wanted to and just never made time for. Because let's face it, I mean, there's only so many hours in a day, and you make time for the things that you want to do or that are important to you or that you can do. So, for me, throughout my teens and early 20s, I was either working or in school and just didn't really have time to catch up. Every once in a while I'd make time, to go see a movie with my friends, but usually I was really busy doing other things. And like I said earlier, I used to read all the time, and it was easier for me to take my book anywhere with me rather than sit and force myself to watch a show. So reading is what I chose to do over watching TV. And there's nothing wrong with either of those. That's just what I had chosen to do. And I have a lot of hobbies and a lot of interests, and those were things that I wanted to focus on and listen to music or do something else. Or TV was something that I would put on and watch reruns. That way I didn't have to put my focus onto catching up on a new show or, focusing my attention there. I could keep my hands busy with a crochet project and, watch an episode that was familiar to me. I didn't have to focus on one thing. I could do both, especially since crochet and counting for knitting takes more focus than having that ambient noise in the background with a story that I'm already familiar with. So let's see, what's next? Okay, oh yeah. So I would just kind of, catch up on shows as they were available to me and start my lists and everything. You know, there were a few exceptions of things that I would watch live, and as I was making my list, I was noticing that a lot of these series, well, a handful of these series, I was able to watch because I would make time to sit and watch them with my husband. For example, we would sit and we watched, he really liked the Deadwood series, and it wasn't something that interested me, but I would sit and watch that with him. So I don't remember much about it, but it was time that I was able to sit and spend with my husband. You know, so I have a terrible memory with a lot of things, and TV shows are no exception. So I think that's why I'm able to enjoy reruns so much, because like I remember vague things, but I don't remember specifics. So I'm able to enjoy things watching the reruns. And I don't feel like I'm missing out too much. It's the same way when I'm reading a book. I remember, like, I'll be able to tell you that, yeah, hey, yeah, I've read this, and I remember vague general things, but I'm able to enjoy rereading something because I find something new each time, or there are things that I'd forgotten. So anyway, Deadwood was one of those series that I know I finished, because I think it was only like 3 or 4. When I was looking up the statistics and shows for this, I was like, oh yeah, I know I finished that. I know we sat and we watched that. We also watched Dead Like Me, and I remember enjoying that one. And we watched, when we were first married, we watched every episode of True Blood, and we also watched Game of Thrones. And then, you know, on my own, I watched Once Upon a Time. I watched Doctor Who. I caught up on that. I was so late to that. It was something that I'd never watched before, and I caught up late on that one and really enjoyed it. So, you know, it's been one of those, it's been really nice to be able to have access to streaming services and to find things that maybe I hadn't heard of before. There are still so many that I'm really far behind on or haven't watched, and I feel like at this point it's one of those things where, you know, there's just not enough time, and I don't care about spoilers anymore. Spoilers used to be something that would really bother me, but I feel like with some of these shows and things, one, you can't really prevent it unless you stay off of all social media. And two, it's one of the things where I know that I wouldn't really be interested in it, so I'm not going to bother trying to protect myself from it anyway. For example, let's see, my husband and I started watching Sons of Anarchy together. It was one of those shows that we watched together. And now I am not a person who is big on like violence and gore and things like that. So it got to a point where I just like, the storyline was okay, but I couldn't take the violence anymore, and so I just kind of quit watching it. And so the last season, I know I watched all of it except for the last season with him, and so I would just have him like give me the Cliff's Notes of what happened. And then like I know I watched the very last episode because he's like, oh, it's okay, you know, it's fine. So he would just like pre-screen it for me, and then I would decide if I wanted to watch it or not. And that works out really well for us because he consumes a lot more TV content than I do. And I'm not mad about it. It's just that's what he does, and I'm kind of grateful that he does that for me, because I can still catch up on the basic storylines of things without having to, see things I don't want to see. And I appreciate that. So I don't care too much for like I said, you know, bloody, gory things. I don't like medical thing dramas either. So I know I've seen like an episode of two of ER, but ER is one of those shows that has been around, like, I feel forever, and I have no idea what's going on. Same with Law and Order. I used to watch Law and Order. I used to watch it like, you know, one of those background shows, and it'd be fine, you know, no big deal, because it always had a nice, you know, progression of events, and you always knew that things were gonna resolve in the end. And then it got to a point where I think it was around the time I was my oldest was born, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I quit watching Law and Order. I also quit watching, what else did I quit? Oh, I quit watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because I felt like that one was just getting too weird for me. And so I didn't watch anymore. That was another show that I started with my husband because it was one of his shows and he thought that I would enjoy it too. And there's lots of things for lots of people. Let's just put it that way. So, okay, now I'm getting distracted. Give me just a moment. All right, now I know what step I'm on. So I can't remember what I was just talking about. I had to kind of mentally grab my makeup steps. So, oh yeah, different shows, different people. So, so along that same line of shows that I really have never gotten into because for whatever reason, you know, violence or like medical things, I've never seen a single episode of House or Dexter, which is apparently making a comeback. And that was another show that my husband loved, that he would kind of tell me little bits about here and there, but again, just not a story that would appeal to me. Another thing that I think really surprised or would be shocking to some people is that, you know, with the time period of cultural TV and the things I was doing in my life, I've never seen a single episode of Ally McBeal, Dawson's Creek, The Vampire Diaries, never seen an episode of Lost, no Degrassi or Smallville, no Weeds, no Gossip Girl. I've never seen an episode of any of these. Never seen a single episode of, I think, Heroes or One Tree Hill. 21 Jump Street was really early 90s, so that would have been before my time, but you know, I know that was kind of a little cultural pop thing that never seen. I've never seen a single episode of Desperate Housewives or Sex in the City. I've not seen The Handmaid's Tale yet. I've not seen Orange is the New Black. I've not seen Breaking Bad. As we're getting into, you know, more current references, I've never seen things like Sailor Moon or Rick and Morty or Adventure Time. I've not seen a single episode of American Horror Story or Portlandia. And these are things that have been, like, you know, between 5 or more seasons. I think American Horror Story's in its like 10th season. I've never seen a single episode. And it's funny because, well, I don't like bodily harm. I can do supernatural stuff. For example, Supernatural, love the show. I have 1 season left to watch it, which is another segment of this episode here. But I just feel like there are so many things that I haven't seen that, I mean, I've got a whole 2 pages of shows here, and there are just so many things that I just haven't seen and can only make vague, like, cultural references to. Some of the shows that I've seen maybe a handful of, like I mentioned, ER, and I think this is going to surprise some people, but I have only seen maybe 1, maybe 2 episodes of Buffy, and I've never seen an episode of Angel. And I know I have a lot of my friends who are fans of Buffy and Angel, and I'm just kind of like, I saw the movie with Sarah Michelle Gellar, but that's it. I've never seen an episode, or maybe I've seen like 1 episode of Will and Grace, but that's another show I never watched. I remember watching an episode of Alias and really enjoying that, but I think that was also like kind of before my time when it was still like network TV, and I think there were only a couple of seasons of that show, so I only watched like 1 or 2. And again, medical drama, Bones, I've only seen like 1 episode of that. And also The New Girl. I know that one was popular for, is it still even on? I don't know. But that was one show that I kind of wanted to get into and just never did. Same with The Sopranos. That's a show that I think I saw 1 episode of, but Again, never got into. And I know there's a whole bunch more, but those are just some of the few that I came across in my research for this video. I was like, oh, like I recognize the shows, and I recognize, you know, I have friends who are in different, you know, enjoyments of those. And they just never really, I didn't make time for them. So let me see, because I'm talking about TV, I'm going to be using my Urban Decay Game of Thrones palette, which I absolutely love. I don't know, I loved it. Did not like the last season of Game of Thrones, but this palette is fire. So let me figure out what I want to put on my eyes and grab some brushes so I'm not making too much noise around you, and we'll put these on. I've already primed my eyes with my Milani eyeshadow primer, and I think I used the last of it, but I don't know. We'll see tomorrow when I try to do my makeup. So I'm just going to go in and grab House Lannister for a crease color, because I think I'm just going to do a pretty peachy pink look today. Really, that's kind of what I'm in the mood for. Or maybe I'll do a purple blue or green and blue. Now I don't know. I think I'll do a green. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Purple blue, purple green, green and blue, green and gold, peachy pink. What am I going to do? I have decided on peach and pink, so I'm going to go in with House Lannister and start in there in the crease. But I have a whole list of movies that I could do an episode on, so let me know if you would be interested in being horrified over the movies that I have never seen. Let me know down below if that would be something you're interested in. Let me know too if there are any of these series that you are just shocked and appalled to find out that I've never seen a single episode of or couldn't get interested in. Let me know if any of those are your favorites down below. Just a little bit of lighthearted fun controversy here. That'd be fine. But yeah, so let's talk about, we've talked a little bit about the shows that I have never seen and shows that I have seen, you know, in their entirety, either not really, well, some as they aired, like some later, you know, on the HBO specials that I could, not specials, but the HBO shows that I have managed to keep up with. And I did actually manage to watch WandaVision, so that one wasn't spoiled for me. I still haven't watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier yet. Again, I just haven't made time for it. And you know, there's just some things that I'm still working on. But there's also a small list of shows that I started and didn't finish. So some shows I gave up on. I stopped watching, either because they stopped interesting me or because they just got to be, I don't know, I just kind of moved past them faster and found other things. They lost interest. And those would be shows like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It aired and I kind of watched it while it was on, but I know that I haven't seen at least the last couple of seasons. And so, you know, that would be the Melissa Joan Hart one, not the Chilling Adventures, which I have not seen at all yet. And I started watching Gotham. I started watching that one while it was airing live, and I would watch it every week. And I watched the first season and then just never picked back up. No particular reason, it's just I just didn't pick it back up. And clearly when I'm watching something on my own, I have trouble staying on task with follow through with a show. I move on to the next one and I just kind of forget. Another one that happened with would be Arrow. I started watching Arrow. Did I start watching it while it was on the CW? I think I started watching it while it was on, and I was keeping up with it okay. And then while I was waiting for new episodes, I started watching other things and then had to catch back up with it on Netflix, and then I think it moved to Hulu, and then I don't remember. Something happened there and I wasn't able to keep up with it. So, I don't know if I like this eye look. Keep going, Tiff. Keep going. So anyway, Arrow was one of those shows that I was keeping up with and watching and really enjoyed it. And then I guess while I was waiting for the next season, you know, I'd moved on to something else and just never went back. The same with The Flash, because I know that they had some crossover episodes with those things, and then it just got to be to the point where, oh, well, I guess I need to go catch up on Flash. And then was there a third show that like intertwined with it? I don't know. The crossover episodes got me, and I was just like, okay, I'm done here, because then it required me to do like homework and map things out, and I couldn't keep up. So I just kind of gave up on those shows. Maybe I'll go back to them later, because I mean, I did enjoy the storylines, but you know, I just couldn't keep up. I got to the point where it was just too much homework. It felt like homework to keep up with the shows. Another one that I quit on was, I used to watch Dancing with the Stars. I didn't get into it at the first season, but I started watching it in like 2008. And then I watched it for a good long time. And then I don't remember what year it was, but they got rid of the band. And I was like, I'm a big fan of the live music, and I quit watching it after they got rid of their band. It just wasn't as good when they went to pre-recorded music, so I quit watching it. But those are the only shows that I really kind of gave up on and quit watching, that I can think of that I was really enjoying while I was doing my homework for this. But there are some shows that I really enjoy that I didn't necessarily give up on them, but I only have one season left. Like, I have the final season left to watch, and I still haven't done it. And those shows include, I think I already mentioned it, but Supernatural. I loved Supernatural. There were a couple of seasons and episodes where I was like, excuse me a minute, but for the most part, I stuck it out and really enjoyed it. And I just have one more season left to go, and it's been out for a while, and I know that I could sit down and watch it, but I just haven't. Same with Schitt's Creek. I loved that show. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was hilarious and poignant and just really incredible all the way around. But I haven't watched the last season. No particular reason, I just haven't done it. Another one that I was thoroughly enjoying and watched most of it while it was airing was The Big Bang Theory. And this came up in my silks class last week, and so my friend spoiled the ending, which again, I don't even care about spoilers anymore, because some things have just been out so long that I can either make time for them or I can't, and I just can't catch up with everything. But she spoiled the ending of it for me, and I wasn't upset. I just kind of gave her a little spoilers, oh my gosh, but it wasn't a big deal. Wasn't really upset about it. But yeah, I haven't seen the last season of The Big Bang Theory, and that was one of those shows that I watched while it was on, and I waited, you know, every week to watch the new episode, and just haven't watched the last season. The same goes with The Walking Dead. My husband and I used to watch The Walking Dead together. We would put our kids to bed, sit down and watch The Walking Dead every week. And I don't know why we just stopped watching it. We just did. We just stopped watching it. And I don't know if he's caught up on it. I haven't asked him. I haven't caught up on it. But we were watching it together, and I think we quit in season 8, maybe. So I guess I don't have one more season of that one. I think I have 2 to watch, 2, maybe 3. But that's one show that we have to finish together, because we haven't. I don't know why I have it in my one more season list. It should have been up on the ones that we quit. It's not that we quit watching it, it's just that we just haven't caught up again. So let me see. I think I might grab Stormwind again. Intensify that purple. I want more purple here. There we go. I'm having a hard time concentrating on choosing colors and talking at the same time. I'm not used to doing this so much. There we go. I like that purple. All right. Another one I watched while it was airing, and I still have one more episode to go, is Glee. I think I watched, yeah, I think just have one more episode or one more series of that left to go. And Psych. I loved watching Psych. That was a show that my husband and I kind of watched reruns together, and I'm pretty sure I've seen every episode except for the last season and the movie. And we even had the movie recorded on our DVR for like 2 years. I never sat down and watched it. That's on me. So you know, I'm not mad about any of these things. I think it's just hilarious that there's so much out there to draw our attention in, and I'm just kind of out here oblivious to all of these things. Like, I understand some references that have been, you know, explained to me secondhand, but yeah, there's a lot that I'm just kind of clueless about. Oh, another one that I only have one more, two more, that I only have one more season to go, and that would be Arrested Development and The Good Place. I loved The Good Place. I binge watched The Good Place, and so, you know, I had caught up until there was only one season left, but I really enjoyed that one, so I need to finish that one. And Arrested Development, I know they had, you know, I watched all of the seasons that were available at the time, so the only thing that I have left to watch are the, like, choose your own adventure last style season. That's the only thing I have left to watch there. So I just need to make some time to do that. So I'm not going to be able to chit chat while I'm putting on eyeliner, so let me grab some eyeliner and mascara and I'll be right back. All right, here's the finished look. I went ahead and I just did the lower lash line and eyeliner and threw on some false lashes. And again, the sun's going to get in the way, but that's okay. My Wispy Minis by House of Lashes. I put on a highlighter, which I had kind of forgotten to do while I was yammering. I used Bay of Dragons here, which is such a pretty pink. It's so pretty. This whole palette is lovely once you know what to do with it. Again, I don't know why it got so much flack. The last season of the show was not good. This palette is very good. And that's a controversial, unpopular opinion I will stand by. That reminded me, while I was putting on the lower lash line shade, I thought, man, this looks a lot like the shade Fringe that I used in my last video. And I thought, oh yeah, Fringe, that's another TV show that I actually watched in its entirety. I really enjoyed it. It's again one of those sci-fi supernatural type shows that I really enjoyed, and it didn't appear on any of the lists that I was looking at when I was doing my research for this particular video. And I know I didn't touch on all of these shows that I had put on my list here, but clearly it's, you know, not exactly tidy. I just kept seeing shows and thinking, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Oh, I forgot about that one. Oh, I forgot about that one. So let's go ahead and continue this conversation in the comments down below. Let me know if any of these shows are ones that you followed through in their entirety. Are there any shows that you gave up on? Are there any shows that are still on your list to be watched? I know even though quite a few of those I haven't maybe seen a single episode, they are shows that I am still interested in watching. So someday I'll make time for them. But until that time, I'm just going to keep creating and doing the things that I enjoy doing too. So that's it for me today. I really like how this look came out. Oh, for my lipstick, I used the Marc Jacobs crayon in the shade Night Mauves. I was the Le Mach liquid lip crayon. Glides on smoothly, really pretty color. I might see if I can grab a couple more of these. No, I don't need to. Don't need any more. Don't need more lip products. Anyway, really good. If you like it, go grab your Marc Jacobs stuff before they go away. And that's it for me today. Go ahead and please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this look or this conversation topic. And if you're not subscribed, I would love if you would consider subscribing. I'm so close to 100, and so thank you very much for those of you who are subscribed and enjoying my content. I hope that we can keep growing and keep sharing and being creative. Yeah, I can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for being here today with me. I appreciate it so very much that you took some time out of your day to spend with me. And yeah, until next time, take care.